today we're doing Amsti Lab 10.1. We're going to be adding substances to water. I have all of my substances here. This is the first one, copper sulfate, blue crystals. This is the second one, zinc oxide. This is the third one, powdered sugar. And we've got sodium chloride. Then we have sulfur. Okay. And then I've got two other substances, potassium permanganate and sand, that we are also going to be adding water to, that are listed on your sheet. Okay, so I've already gotten a scoop of each one of the substances in the test tubes. I'm going to go ahead and add water to it and shake it up and see what happens. Okay, so we're going to just go in order. The first one we're going to do is the copper sulfate. So y'all tell me, do you think it's going to dissolve or not?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay, well, let's shake it up. You're only supposed to shake it 10 times, but I happen to know that this will dissolve. Okay. Can y'all see that it's kind of turned the water blue? So some of it has dissolved. If you can see, the water is blue, which means some of it has dissolved. Okay. Now, I'm going to add water to the zinc oxide. Okay, and it turned the water white. I'm going to shake it up. Y'all think it'll dissolve?
No.
Why? Okay. Tell you what, I'm going to let it sit for a minute and we'll check it. Okay? Now, so you have to go ahead and put in your thing what happened after shaking it. Okay? Turn white. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and add water to the powdered sugar. What do y'all think will happen to the sugar? You think it'll dissolve? Okay, yeah, you're right. So there's the sugar. It's completely dissolved. Okay. Next, I'm going to do sodium chloride. Does anybody know what sodium chloride is? It's salt. Okay, same kind of salt that you use at home. What do y'all think it'll do in water?
Oh, it's definitely dissolved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a government.
Well, you've seen it happen before, haven't you? Okay, so as I'm shaking it up, you can see that it's definitely dissolving, and all of it has dissolved. Now, sulfur. What do y'all think will happen when I add water to sulfur? You think it'll dissolve?
No.
Okay, why do you think it won't dissolve?
It's just still different because the other ones did.
Because what?
The other ones did.
Okay. Well, you've kind of got some particles floating around in the liquid. It looks kind of yellowish, but no, it's not dissolving. If you look closely, you can see the particles are actually falling back down to the bottom of the test tube. And then you'll be left with the water at the top. Can y'all see that? Okay. Now, let's go back and look at the zinc oxide. So did the zinc oxide dissolve?
No.
No. I mean, you can clearly see. Now, it kind of mixed up with the water a little bit to make you think that it dissolved, but it did not. Zinc oxide does not dissolve in water. All right. Now, down below your chart, there's two questions. The first one, I think, asked you about potassium permanganate, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a tiny little bit of potassium permanganate in this test tube. And the reason I have a tiny little bit is because it makes a big old mess. So, I'm going to mix water with a little bit of potassium permanganate. What do y'all think will happen?
It'll not like make the water go.
This was my favorite one because it turns the water purple. Okay. It did dissolve in the water. Turned it purple. But you got to be careful with this one because it's very pretty in the test tube, but if it gets on your skin, it stains brown. And it takes a couple days to come off. Alright, so that's the potassium permanganate. Now, what about sand? Do y'all think sand dissolves in water?
No.
Why?
Because
Well, you got to give me more than just cause.
I wrote it down. I don't know exactly
What do you think happens to sand?
I like absorbs a lot.
yeah.
You think sand absorbs water? So when you're at the beach and the shore, the tides are rolling in, and do you think it's absorbing into the sand?
No.
Why no?
Because if that happened, what would happen to our oceans? Because what's on the floor of the ocean? Sand. So if sand absorbed water, we wouldn't have any oceans because it would just absorb all the water. So no.
But if sand,
Sand does not dissolve in water.
If it dissolves, then there'll be no sand in front of the ocean.
You're right. If it dissolved, there would be no sand in the ocean. There would be no sand at the beaches. We would just have land and then water. No beaches whatsoever. Okay, so that's the sand. It does not dissolve in water. Now, I want to go look at the sheet that we did right here. Let's look at the second page. We need to have definitions for these words right here. What do y'all think soluble means?
That it can dissolve.
Yeah, that something can dissolve in water or dissolve in anything. So, if soluble means that something will dissolve, what does insoluble mean? That it won't dissolve. Something will not dissolve. Okay, now your next two, solute and solvent. Okay, do y'all remember from your assignment yesterday what solute and solvent mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me, Andrew, when I've got potassium sulfate right here in water, which one is my solute? The water or the potassium sulfate?
The other one.
The copper sulfate.
The copper sulfur.
Yeah, copper sulfate is your solute. That's the substance being dissolved. The solute is the substance being dissolved. So, what is the solvent? Yeah, the stuff that dissolves the solute. So your solvent is the substance that dissolves your solute. Now, these last two definitions, I'm going to leave you to define in your own words. Okay, you've got solution, and then you've got the word dissolve. Don't Google it, because I'll know if you Google it. I want you to think in your mind what each of these means, and I want you to write it down.